Little after 10 on a Tuesday morning, and we're going to see what's going on in and around the world and what folks have on their minds and all along those lines. So, like I said, it's a little after 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, and I don't see that I'm registering any vocals or anything like that. So, we're going to pop back out and in and see what's going on in the little bit after 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, and we're going to see what's happening in the world. Hopefully, folks will be joining us very shortly and everything like that. Gunmen shoot several tourists at a historic pyramids in Mexico. So the gunman killed 6 Americans are among the injured as the gunman shoots tourists at Mexico's Teotihuacan pyramids. So definitely it looks like one person was killed and 6 were wounded in that particular incident and all along those lines. Japan scrapes most curbs on weapons exports in historic shift since World War II. So to Japan to sell more weapons abroad, breaking with its post-war pacifism. Or yeah, uh, and China warns of moves toward militarism after Japan eases its arms export rules. Japan lifts the ban on lethal weapons exports in a major shift of pacifist policy. So definitely that's something that the folks are talking about as well. Murder trial in El Salvador for almost 500 alleged MS-13 members. And some folks are asking how the coal disaster drove the U.S. to develop new warship defenses. And Spain calls to suspend EU-Israel Association Agreement set to fail. Spain, Slovenia, and Ireland are pushing EU to debate the Israel Pact suspension. Orban's exit leaves Israel exposed in Europe. And The Guardian is even reporting their view on the EU and Israel moving beyond mere extortion, is what one editorial was saying. And Pope Francis revealed his final days, intimate friends, and a legacy to keep. So Pope Leo pays tribute to Pope Francis on the anniversary of his death. So definitely Pope Leo the 14th paid tribute to his predecessor on the anniversary of that death. And Japan is on high alert for a huge second quake after lifting tsunami warning. Tsunami advisory lifted after Japan earthquake, but warning for potential stronger earthquakes are issued. Big one coming. Japan issues a mega quake advisory after a magnitude 7.7 shock. Earthquake sets off a brief tsunami alert and a mega quake advisory in northern Japan. Pope denounces the colonialization of Africa's minerals as it arrives in. It's a different. So during Leo's Algeria visit, North African cardinal says priority. So maintaining hope, Equatorial Guinea was there and all along those lines. Hungary's Magyar says ICC wanted leaders will be detained, so Hungary must arrest Netanyahu if he visits, Magyar says. So Hungary must arrest visiting leaders sought by the ICC, is what Magyar says. Magyar says Netanyahu would face arrest if he came to Hungary, but the invitation remains. New Zealand declares an emergency in capital after it was battered by torrential rains. Man swept away in Wellington floodwaters as New Zealand capital hammered by record heavy rain. Emergency mobile alert issued to Herbertville and evacuations in Catterton. Some residents in New Zealand's capital urged to evacuate due to these future further flood risk and everything like that. Kuwait declares further force majeure on oil shipments, alternative route for Middle East oil and gas due to the Hormuz disruption. Strait of Hormuz traffic is at a standstill again. So it looks like that is definitely a continuing news story and all along those lines. So a lot's going on in that space, and we're always glad to be having these conversations. New Zealand Luxon survives party leadership vote months before things are going up in that area. So, embattled New Zealand Prime Minister survives leadership vote and polls goes falling support for the New Zealand National Party and Prime Minister. Look, so New Zealand Prime Minister and along those lines, but we'll see if he stays in power or doesn't stay in power as things continue in that part of the world. Kremlin-friendly ex-president Roman Radev scores big election win in Bulgaria. Bulgaria's Kremlin-friendly ex-president wins the election in a landslide. Bulgarian voters, worn down by corruption, back the new coalition. A new foothold for Moscow in Europe after the Bulgarian elections. And Tucker Carlson begs for forgiveness for helping Trump. Tucker Carlson says he regrets backing Donald Trump and is tormented. Tucker Carlson apologized for his role in helping Trump get elected for a long time, and definitely he's saying he's tormented by backing Trump and that he's sorry for the actions that he took. Distress call that was reported on yesterday. So Iran's hardliners their muscle with a return over her, and that was reported a couple of days ago. An Indian tanker comes under Iranian fire in Strait of Hormuz and issued a distress call. So definitely that is something that's still going on in that area. UK police are investigating attacks in London are the work of Iranian proxies. Teenager charged with arson after attack on synagogue in London. Spat at, threatened, and kidnapped British Jews tell of rising anti-Semitism. Anxiety mounts in London's Jewish community amid a wave of anti-Semitic attacks. Balikatan drills in the Philippines, so China warns against joint U.S., Philippines, and Japan drills eroding regional trust. Japanese ground troops join rapidly growing Balikatan exercise in Philippines. China flexes energy leverage as the Philippines and the U.S. start their annual war games. U.S. and allied forces kick off a combat drills with Philippines. Rochelle Goldberg Poland, whose son was October 7th, and she's got her memoirs out. American hostage mother of her new memoir. Her kidnapped son was killed in a account of her group. A mother remembers one of the beautiful six abducted on October 7th in that particular year that event took place. The axis of evil suffers a big loss, so Magyar's parliamentary majority in Hungary increases after final count. The 4 lessons liberals should consider after Orban's death is what's being reported in the New York Times and all along those lines. So Viktor Orban built a propaganda. Hungary's next leader must dismantle. It's what by some. Slovenia's prime minister admits he cannot form Slovenia's Prime Minister Golob's party talks have failed in that area. Slovenia's outgoing Prime Minister Robert Golob fails to form a government coalition as Janša opts to wait. Right wing could build a majority despite narrow liberal election win in Slovenia. 4 candidates for UN Secretary General auditioned this week, and some folks are asking who are the candidates running. So we'll find out who's going to take over the UN shortly as big debate that will be taking place for the governorship of California. Billion in Orban defeat. So EU expects a positive decision on a 90 billion euro loan to Ukraine on Wednesday. The EU is eyeing the Ukraine loan Israeli settler sanctions after the Hungarian elections. So it looks like they're planning their first loan tranche to Ukraine to end May, early June. And there's a lot going on in Ukraine as well and in the Middle East. Is this really the solution inside the IDF's new buffer zone in southern Lebanon? Israel entrenches hold on South Lebanon, U.S. to host talks on Thursday. Does Israel's Yellow Line violate the Lebanon ceasefire? Satellite images reveal scale of Israeli demolitions as Lebanese villages are destroyed. So that's something that folks are talking about as well. And definitely lots going on in the world. Ukrainian drone attacks on Tuapaz port kills one. So Russia threatens Europe as Ukraine escalates strikes on Putin's oil industry. Russia's offensive campaign assessment is what some are even looking at the Institute for the Study of War. And it looks like that drone attack on Russia's Tuapaz port killed one. At least that was what was reported on yesterday, I believe it was, and all along those lines. North Korea again tests cluster munitions in a launch observed by Kim and his daughter, and that was reported a couple of days ago as well. So we'll see how this all plays out in the arms race. And IDF soldiers' destruction of Jesus statue triggers Poland-Israel spat. Israeli soldier in Lebanon was sledgehammered a statue of Jesus. Over 150 Jewish leaders signed a letter decrying the desecration of the Jesus statue in Lebanon, and outcry has grown over the Israeli soldier smashing that Jesus statue in Lebanon. Nigeria's Iroro Tanshi wins the Goldman Environmental Prize for trying to save bats. 6 women win 2026 Goldman Prize, the world's top environmental award. From a Suri oil well to the Supreme Court, how an activist changed UK climate law. And Rights of Nature Defender wins Goldman Prize for protecting Colombia's Magdalena River from fracking. And Peru reviews disputed election ballots with final results likely May. Pressure mounts on Peru's election authorities amid presidential race delay. Peru to confirm Keiko Fujimori runoff rival by mid-May. Peruvian courts have set a May 15 deadline for counting voters' votes in presidential race. And rescue of whale Timmy in Germany. A whale stranded on German coast swims off and gets stuck again. But rescuers were to use air cushions in the latest effort to save the stranded whale. So it looks like he was back on the move. So that's actually the latest that we see was Timmy, the stranded whale, was back on the move. So some folks were even saying stranded and dying, the German whale is a parable of our troubled relationship with the sea giants. Trump says he does not want to extend a ceasefire as uncertainty remains over peace talk. And definitely we're now in day 53 of the U.S.-Israel conflict. So definitely that's what some people are talking about as well. India and South Korea aim to deepen ties amid global uncertainty. And some folks, including those at CNBC, are asking what's holding them back. So India made Galaxy Z Flip 7 selfie. Modi poses for a pic with Samsung chairman, South Korean president as well. So India and South Korea plan $50 billion trade push with new deals. So India and South Korea agreed to nearly double trade to $50 billion by 2030. And as far as Pope news, church in Angola is growing and can help promote universal rights. And Pope Leo visited nursing homes in Angola yesterday. The elderly need to be listened to, is what he said. And Pope Leo's the 14th visit to an African church linked to slavery reflects on his own complex history. And some folks are asking, did Pope Leo find his voice in Africa, or did the world finally hear him? Israel told people to evacuate Beirut, the southern suburbs, then hit the city center. So that's something that people are talking about as well. So lots going on in the world. I've got Dr. Sharif with me. I'm going to bring him in and all along those lines to see what's going on in Bangladesh. And we'll see if others join us as well. Ukraine has launched a terror investigation after a gunman killed seven and took hostages in a Kiev supermarket. And all along those lines, so that's definitely something that folks are talking about as mass shooting reignites push to loosen gun laws in the war-torn Ukraine. Ukraine police chief resigns after officers allegedly fled the deadly shooting. And apparently, there was some salmon that got high on cocaine. This wasn't the craziest part, is what the New York Times said. And cocaine pollution in rivers and lakes may disrupt the behavior of the salmon, is what the study is finding. So, coke to the gills, cocaine laced wastewater can make salmon roam twice as far. So, it's like maybe even the salmon are getting high off of some of this stuff that is being put in the water and everything like that. So definitely a lot going on as G calls for Hormuz to reopen as China balances its Gulf as G was urging a ceasefire and full Hormuz transit in Saudi in the call that he was making up there is the call with the Saudi crown prince where he was calling for the Strait of Hormuz to remain open and everything like that. So like I said, lots going on in the world and the U.S. as well. But Dr. Sharif, and we'll see who else joins us as well. But how are you doing today? What's happening in Bangladesh? What time is it in Bangladesh? I think it's in the evening time in Bangladesh and all along those lines. But how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Actually, right now, because of this war, it's very challenging moment for everyone. I do not know what is the impact in USA, but if I can share my experience in Bangladesh, it's actually massive energy challenges we have. Our every single liter of diesel, petrol, oil, gas, everything, government has to increase the price, and for that issues, all of the price like food, like supply chain, like transportation, like rent, housing, everything actually increasing. So it's look like it will heavily affected by these inflations and so on. And secondly, we do not know when this war and other things will stop. This is actually a very challenging moment for Bangladesh and Bangladesh economy. The same challenges things I think that India, Pakistan, and South Asian country have been facing, because let's say Bangladesh do not have natural resources. Most of our natural resources, specifically for this oil and gas, we have to buy from Middle East country. Uh, Secondly, many of our people they work in the Middle East. So our main source of income, like country like Bangladesh, actually Middle East working group of people. Because of this war, many people died. Also, the Bangladeshi people, like around maybe 9 to 10 people probably died because of this war. But most important thing is this economy, Middle East economy affected. So, country like Bangladesh, we also affected for that particular issues. And third important thing is that as we have a agreement and other things with USA, so we have a tariff issues, we have immigration related issues, which is heavily affected our countries. So I think the world has economically and culturally and other things. Bangladesh has very challenging moment, very challenging. So we can hope for the best, but definitely the global leaders, the global community, they have to understand that because of this war, it creating very negative impact of economical impact for many countries. So we should stop this war. We need to focus on global peace.
Yeah, definitely got to
Thank you
focus
for
on
your
global
question.
peace and everything like that. Hey, Dr. Sharif, I know that you're doing a lot with education and you are an educator yourself and all along those lines. So, how are the kids reacting to all that's going on in the world and what is the number one issue that they are concerned about and all along those lines? So, when you talk to your students, other than the issues that you just mentioned, what are some of the other things that they are very much interested in and they even learn from this particular network when you shared with them and everything like that. So, what are some of the issues that your students are telling you they are concerned about?
Look, I do focus on knowledge commercializations. I do focus on knowledge oriented economy, right? What it called talent economy. I do focus on wisdom. Wisdom is something which is necessary for global peace. Wisdom is something which is necessary to every factor in the government agency, in the corporation, and in academia. Because of artificial intelligence and social media and everything, right now we work very closely, but we have very challenging moments. So when you discuss about the youth right now they are very positive about the political situation and political diplomacy and so on. So they love to contribute, specifically this Gen Z love to contribute in the politics. But definitely, I train the youth. I support the youth with our innovative education system and our government. They are very much concerned about the education system improvement. They are very concerned about the improvement of the education and innovative education and so on. And for that issues, we are taking preparation for a very quality full conference where the people from around the world they can join and they can go for global network. I want to invite you in Bangladesh maybe in the next 6 months, and all of our people from our network from Pop TV. So, so the youth, what you discuss, youth basically right now they are very concerned about politics. They love to take action. They want to build up their company. They want to contribute in the politics. So they are very much action oriented. This scenario will be very interesting. The same thing I want to share about Nepal. You see that Nepal prime minister is very young, and with his team, how they take their initiative for education, take their initiative against corruption, and so on. I think Nepal will be a very interesting country for the next decade. So that is the things, the interesting things we can observe. Definitely, the global north and global south, the South Asia, we can work together closely. We can learn from each other through this kind of podcast and so on, and we can improve our community. Thank you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hey, Dr. Sharif, I don't know that I'll be able to make the conference this year because of finances and everything like that, but will there be an opportunity for people like me and Jacoby to participate through Zoom or StreamYard or to participate virtually? So will there be opportunities for people to speak to your people through the virtual technology?
Sure, we can do both. Basically, we can do both. We can do offline initiative and we can do online initiative. And through this process, we can collaborate and we can move forward. We can work together and make a meaningful contribution.
Yeah, we can definitely do that and everything like that. I'm just curious because I know every time you come on, I see that information behind you in terms of your backdrop of space and space travel and all in that way. And we just had Artemis and everything like that. How is Bangladesh and Nepal and the Asian countries doing in terms of space exploration? Because I know that I think the next mission we're supposed to have is supposed to be in 2028, and they're hoping to have somebody on, I think, one of the planets by 2030 or something like that. But how is your country doing in terms of space exploration? Do y'all have like y'all's own version of NASA, and do you have your own spaceships as of yet, or is that something that is far, far away, or do y'all already
Yeah,
part of the space race?
yeah, we can explore the space. We already have our own universities, those who are doing research and other things for space. I think the NASA team last year they visit Bangladesh. Bangladesh has a lot of innovative approach. Bangladesh has a lot of interesting approach for this space industries as well as for this satellite and so on. So we have our expert, those who live abroad right now. They're coming back to Bangladesh and they are contributing this space industry. Most importantly, what you discuss about youth, what I discuss about talent economy, they are very much interested about contributing the space industries and so on. And this is actually a symbol from my side that the world, day by day, how we make uh, unhealthy, how we make incompetent, how we make a challenging environment in our countries or in our communities or in our planet. Maybe in the future we have to go to the other part of this space industries and so on. So this is very high time. We need to focus on the global peace. But I have a question. What do you think about this global war? Where it gonna stop, or when it gonna stop? Is there any update or anything you have in mind, or you can think about?
No, it looks like the war is going to be going on for a while. I don't see any immediate end. I mean, I wish it would end today or tomorrow in my own personal feelings about it because I'm not a big fan of death and destruction, and I'm not a big fan of war in general and everything like that. But I mean, the Ukrainian war has been going on for multiple years, and I definitely don't see an end to that. And even this particular war between the U.S. and Iran looks like it still could be going on for at least multiple months, if not a year or two, and everything like that. But I hope that I'm wrong and everything in that space. I mean, one of the things that I've been very much concerned about, and I know you mentioned it as well, isn't just war, but the impact that the war can have and the things that we do on the environment. I mentioned the salmon that have been laced with cocaine, and it's not like they were trying to get high; they just had some water that had been impacted that was in the ocean that was impacting them and everything like that. And I think I mentioned on this show yesterday that I watched a documentary over the weekend that was talking about Iceland and how a lot of the glaciers have started to disappear, and that's been going on for years. So there was a filmmaker that made a film about that. It was about how things had changed between his grandparents' time to his time, and how it will continue to change with his own kids who are now youngsters. I think they are younger than preteens, and what it'll be like when the world when what the world will look like when they get to be their grandmother's age. And I think their grandmother was like around 96 or something like that. So I don't know how y'all are doing in terms of pollution and everything like that. I know that some of the Asian countries are not doing all that well and everything like that. But that's one of the things that very much concerns me, as I don't have any kids of my own, but I do have two nephews that I hope will live a very long and a productive life and everything like that. But I am concerned about the world that they are coming into, particularly with climate change and with the environment and stuff like that. So I would definitely be wondering even your thoughts around that when you see things that are disappearing and all along those lines. Another movie that I saw that I didn't mention last time that you might be interested in, I think it was set in Nepal, but a lot of people go mountain climbing, and sometimes the better mountain climbers are those from your area, whether they're from Nepal or Bangladesh or Pakistan, because they've been trained in that art form and everything like that. And it was a movie, I think K2 was part of the name of it, because I think that might have been the acronym for the mountain and everything like that. But they were talking about how many people had lost their lives on this particular exhibition. I think it was five, but only 15 went on the trip. So that's what they about 33% they lost their lives and everything like that. They and some of them had even frozen up there in the mountains because those mountains can get very cold and everything like that. So I think they died on the mountains and were buried on the mountains. But it was a very sad and poignant movie as well and everything like that. But I was just wondering your thoughts. And I also learned that gaming sometimes can be impactful in escapes. There's another movie that I saw talked, and I think it had Pink Fox in the title or something like that. But it talked about how this woman was escaping, I think, from the Iran Pakistan area in Afghanistan, was trying to get away from the war. And they would sometimes say if a what we used to call a mule, somebody was coming to take them away and to help them escape and to immigrate, for lack of a better term, and everything like that. They wouldn't say that they were trying to escape. The person would give them the code word that they were going gaming. So it was like they were going video gaming, even though they weren't going video gaming. They were really escaping, but they were using gaming as a code to say it's time for us to try to escape, whether that was by bus, whether that was by foot, or whatever, and all along those lines. So I think after the fourth or fifth try, they finally escaped from that oppressive country and everything like that. But the main thing that I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about, because I'm very concerned about it, is how is climate being impacted in your part of the world? Because when I see some of these movies, it does look like there's a lot of pollution, and a lot of people are concerned about the impact of pollution on their lives and on the greater global community.
Yeah, this is very good questions. Actually, if you see a country like Bangladesh, we have a lot of natural resources, but day by day, the more we welcoming different kind of like this infrastructure, the more we welcoming smart city, the more we welcoming this architectural design and innovation. Actually, we lose our natural beauty, we lose our natural things. And secondly, that we have water pollutions, we have air pollutions, we have climate challenges. This is actually creating a very negative impact in our country. This is actually creating very a negative scenario in our country. I born in a very small place, it's called Rajbari. But in Rajbari, because of this climate change, most of our land and other things go under the river. So this is very challenging things. Uh, we need to work together. So we need to focus on these tree plantations. We need to focus on these glacier meltings of the Himalayas. We need to understand how this river activities and other things, how we can make it more natural and other things. So this way we can find out a innovative solution. This way we can figure out a innovative approach for our countries. And I believe that our people, our agriculture, our climate things, we have to overcome from these challenging things. Uh, the pollution, definitely, it's a very critical component, and we have to overcome from these situations. On the same way, I believe that global north, they have to be very productive. Global north, they have to be very proactive about these climate-related activities, and they need to support this initiative. So it's actually community engagement. The more we can engage in the community, we have to we may find out more challenges, and from there we can find out the different kind of innovative solution from for us.
Yeah, we can definitely do that and everything along those lines. I will play this commercial from our sponsor, which is Nick, and everything like that, and then we'll come back maybe with some news from around the U.S. and other world news as well, and everything like that. But we'll take a brief break for this break right here as we hear from Nick's company, which is one of the sponsors of the network. And we'll see if other people join us, and we'll probably end because I got to do the Ukrainian show maybe at the 45-minute mark, depending on what other people show up if they show up. But let's check out this important message from Nick's company.
One of the things that business owners forget a lot is to prepare for their own retirement.
Hi, my name's Nick Palavita, and today I'm with a very special guest, a certified financial planner, a chartered retirement plan specialist, and president of National Pension Partners, Max Couliet. Max, tell me what you do at National Pension Partners.
Well, Nick, we help successful small businesses and professionals put together retirement plans that provide them the maximum retirement benefits and big tax deductions at the same time.
Well, how do you do this?
Well, we get on an internet conferencing system with the client. We review their goals, what they want to accomplish, and then put together strategies to help them in implementing a retirement plan that benefits them, not everybody else.
Well, that sounds really good, but how much does this cost?
Well, it's really not bad because the first consultation is free. That allows us to go through and discover whether this strategy works for that business and for you as the business owner and helping you maximize your retirement.
Well, Max, how do we get this free appointment?
It's really pretty simple, Nick. You can either go to our website below or call us at 877-252-1692, and then we can set up a time with either myself, Nick, or one of our other retirement plan specialists, another CPA or advisor in the office to go over this with you and make sure it fits for you.
Hi, my name is Lewis Haupt. I work with National Pension Partners, and I work with businesses to allow them to put the maximum away that they can for themselves and to save taxes.
Hi, I'm Brad Coyle, and I'm the brokerage manager at National Pension Partners. We're always analyzing plan fund choices in order to ensure the participant's success.
If you want more information on how we can help you and your business put more money away in a retirement plan than you ever thought possible, contact us at the website below or call us at 877-252.
That's right. Didn't quite get all the number out, but it was 1692, as they saw on that particular end of the video and everything like that. But yeah, that's Nick's other company. I think he might even be in the process of turning that over, but he's definitely keeping Pod TV going for a while and all along those lines. But he's doing a lot of travel, and I think he's actually going to Austria soon and everything like that. But he's definitely trying to keep things rolling and rocking with this particular network. Before I get to some of the national news and everything like that, on yesterday when I had Sasha and Jacoby on one of our shows. I think it was the media show. I asked them an interesting question because I help find the guest oftentimes email or by being in touch with them, sometimes by phone and everything like that. When we have guests and all in that space, so I was just wondering, Dr. what would be your buddy? I'll reach out to them by email, or even if I don't know their language, they're a language translator. Is that you wish to talk to, if you had a chance to talk to anybody, whether it's from your country or America, what would it be if you got a chance to talk to somebody? And they can be from the world of science, they can be politics. I really don't care. I'm just saying, if you had your
Yeah, what's your question? But actually, because of this echo, I cannot hear you clearly.
asking you had a chance to have like a dream guest on Pod TV, if you could have anybody that was a celebrity or whether they're in your country or whether they're in the US, who would you like to have the opportunity to talk you and me and other people like to talk to people that we would like to talk to? So somebody you haven't had a chance to meet or talk to that you would like to have the opportunity to talk to is an author, a famous entertainer or something like that. Because like I said, I'm in charge of reaching out to a lot of these people. So if you had a dream, be the person that you would like to talk to that you haven't had an opportunity to talk to.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very good question. Basically, I'm a big fan of Silicon Valley's CEOs. So if we can invite few CEOs from Silicon Valley, let's say Apple, from Google, or from Amazon, or from anywhere, that will be very interesting podcast for me and for my communities. Definitely very interesting. Beside that, I just want to share that our next conference, I think I already shared with you, it will be based on finance and economics. And you know that Bangladesh win Nobel Prize because of microfinance, right? So this microfinance group and communities, they are joining in my ecosystem, especially Professor Baki Khulilu, who is one of the major inventor for microfinance. And secondly, we have a like businessman, like you have your Apple or you have your Amazon. We have our largest corporation. So one of the largest corporation chairman as a chief guest. He is also joining in our upcoming Friday conference, and hopefully it will be very interesting discussions. You can understand Bangladesh Nobel Prize winning history and Bangladesh economics and how this microfinance work and how this global north can collaborate and they can contribute with this microfinance and financial initiatives. That is my thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem as well. Hey, Sasha, glad you're joining us and everything like that. I hadn't got to U.S. news, but I did see that Trump is got some news going on, and of course, there's the redistricting referendum, which I think somebody mentioned on our network yesterday, and all along those lines. But Trump says he's ready to resume bombing Iran. The talks don't go well ahead of the ceasefire deadline. So he says he doesn't want to extend the ceasefire with Iran and everything like that. So Trump is saying that they violated the ceasefire multiple times, and I think they said that the U.S. has violated it multiple times as well. So what are you saying? Because I know that Dr. Sharif is asking me, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts as to how long this war will go on and all along those lines, and will it get ready to escalate again? Because it looks like it's getting ready to escalate, but I was wondering your take on that.
It's hard to say. Trump needs to finish this war one way or another. The midterm election is getting closer and closer, and he needs to pay more attention to the economy and other factors that will directly affect the election. So the longer the war is going on, the more downside for Trump. And it's not a question what's good for America. It's a question what's good for Donald Trump. You have to see this from that perspective more than anything else. For Trump, the best scenario is to finish the war ASAP, and whatever result is, he can sell it as a victory, regardless of what. Let's see, if they will get enriched uranium, that's great. If they will not, okay, so they didn't get it. The Strait of Hormuz has to be reopened because it was open even before the war. So what's really Trump accomplished is very unclear to me, if anything. So we'll see what's happened in the next couple of days.
Yeah, there's a major election that's going on just north of me in Virginia. David Walker kind of alluded to it yesterday because it sounds like he's not a big fan of what's going on and everything like that, because I think he said he voted no. But it looks like Virginia voters are deciding on a new House map with major midterm implications, and that is going on today. I mean, they've had early voting, but the regular voting is taking place on today, the 21st, and everything like that. So we'll see how this gerrymandering situation plays out, because I know they've been ones that took place in, I think, Florida and Georgia, Texas, and other places as well. But now it's Virginia's turn to deal with redistricting, and if they win, it could boost Democrat seats in Congress and all along those lines. I know David said he wasn't a big fan because it sounds like it was a big amount of Democrat seats that would be gained in this particular vote and everything like that. But I've been seeing commercials come down to even as far down here as North Carolina that have been talking about this election and everything like that. So it's kind of what you were saying. He's got to concentrate on a lot of the political land front and to see how it is all going in that space, because he's even lost another person that has stepped down from his cabinet. So Lori Chavez de Ramir, one of his Latin American people, Trump's second labor secretary, has stepped down amid internal investigation. So that just happens today as Trump continues to have problems in his own cabinet and he's facing pressure. So apparently this was amid misconduct is what she was accused of. So she's now resigning and stepping down. So it looks like he might be losing support even among his base, because I heard that Tucker Carlson is saying that he regrets supporting him and all along those lines, and he's about to lose another Republican as well and everything like that, because it says Representative Nancy Mace introducing measures to expel fellow Republican Corey Mills from Congress and everything like that. So Corey Mills faces a call for expulsion from Congress, but then there's Representative Sheila Felice McCormick, who is a Democrat, and apparently the House Democrats are prepared to abandon her. So, and all along those lines. So there's some people, including those that were dealing with sexual charges, like the gentleman from California and another gentleman that is slipping my name right now and everything. But it looks like there's a lot of political infighting that might cost some people their seats as well. So do you think that they're going to lose the House?
I want to ask a question too, and I don't know if you guys covered this, but the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, former Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, who was also accused of, I guess, sexual misconduct over the years, from years way back in his college years, and he ended up killing himself and his wife 4 days ago, I think it was.
It was a few days ago, Justin.
All because of the accusations, just kept building and building, and it cost him his job as lieutenant governor. It cost him his career path because he was the rising star. Like, everyone loved him until the accusations hit. And sometimes I think some accusations are meant to sabotage, as opposed to being real. These things occurred when he was, from what I gather, when he was in college. Here he is with a wife and children, and two women accused him of sexual misconduct. So, I don't know how much of all of this is true, but that cost the family a lot.
Kim, I don't know how you feel about it, because I know you're a advocate for women's rights and a lot of work, even the work that you did with the High Point Police and everything like that. But you are right that it can be a slippery slope, because I do know some people that have been falsely accused or the accusations were a little bit thin and everything like that, including some well-known people that I'm aware of, including some associated with the NAACP and everything like that. So I sometimes do think that there can be some political motivations, like you're saying, to some accusations, and then you have to be careful because we want to make sure that the women are given their voice and that they are heard, and that the accusations are given justice and everything
Well,
like that.
you know,
But
everyone
there can be
accused, right? And I feel like when women falsely accuse, and it's 100% proven they're falsely accused, and there's a lot at play here with the laws, because some of the laws define rape and sex and everything, and so different than what we perceive it, that when a woman goes to say she was raped and the guy had sex with her wrongfully and everything, they get down to defining every element of it, and it gets very hard on the victims. So, but when you've got situations like with Falwell, that was a woman who claimed that he sexually molested her, but she still stayed working for him for those years. And she reports this the eve of before, his elections. And I just think that is more political sabotage, not because I liked Falwell or thought I liked him, but she was a mature woman. She wasn't a young kid. And, like what we're dealing with Trump and the rest of them in the Epstein files, she was drunk and reckless. And, they ended up in a hotel room together. So I think that there are political sabotages happening. I think something that happened when you were in college, you should have addressed it then, not when the guy has, 10, 15 years later. But I mean, if he officially raped you and you were always scared to go forward and mention it, I get it, because it's scary. When you go to the police, they're going to throw everything at you that you're the guilty one. They're going to paint you horrible. But we've ventured off of a true good political platform of campaigning, where we're not looking at what can these people do for us. Everything now is who is the biggest devil, right? Everything is pointing blame, pointing fingers, accusations. There is not one. It's always, I just voted for the lesser devil. And I'm like, okay, but what are they going to do for us? So I think we need to get back to a platform of what are they going to do? They are not working for us either. They should be. But anytime that they have a sexual harassment case charged against them, they voted that your taxes will pay to defend them. So that's wrong. So, and I've noticed that it's not it's only a one-way street right now. I see a lot of Democrats step down, but the Republicans don't. So.
No, there are a couple of Republicans that have gone down too as well. There's a couple of Republicans that have gone down. But I mean, we've even seen some major historical figures, and I agree with you. At what point is it political gamemanship and everything like that? Because I mean, there are some major accusations against the great labor leader Cesar Chavez, but these accusations just came out like last week or something like that, and it was actually one of his people that was very much connected to the labor movement with him and everything like that. So I do wonder why she waited to this point to bring it out, because apparently she was abused and everything like that. But it is now coming out when he's dead and gone, and she's well into her, I want to say maybe either 80s or 90s, but she's definitely an older woman and everything like that. So I do wonder sometimes how much of this is political theater and all.
I know a lot of older women who kept the secrets in the closet, because that's just what we were taught many, many years ago. And the mothers taught the daughters, and the daughters were never, and it just kept going. You throw it into the closet and you move on with your life. And, kudos to those who survived past their 80s and they're just now getting it out of their system, because we were taught one way, right? Don't bring it up, just walk on. I even had a doctor one time tell me, if you're ever raped, just go with the flow, get out of it alive, and move on with your life. Don't report it, don't bring it against you. Those kind of things. I mean, this is what we were taught years ago. Now it's all about getting it out in the open, and I think we need to find a balance. But kind of getting back to the world of everything.
Sasha show in a few minutes and everything like that. But I did have a question because it came up on Facebook, social media, and maybe Sasha or even Dr. Sharif had thoughts about this. What should be the punishment for the women if it is found out that they are false charges? Because you mentioned this being a theatrical thing and all along those lines. And I've heard some people say that they should face some time as well if they are false charges. And I don't know if there are charges that they could be found, because I'm not a lawyer, don't pretend to be a lawyer, and Nick's not here and everything like that. But what is y'all's opinion if it is found out that these are false allegations? Should they be charged or not charged? And how would they be charged?
I think that there needs to be some sort of restitution of some kind. Most women aren't going to have the money to compensate for the losses, but I think that they need to fundamentally know the consequences of their actions and understand what they just did. I don't comprehend falsely accusing people. I think that it hurts the women who things really do happen to, but I don't commend, and it needs to be reined in. It really does. But I do want to say that I have read the police reports in the Epstein files that date back to 1994. I think there's even one set that goes back to 1992. And these women have been reporting sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and children, I'm saying children, not even women. They're women now, but they have been reporting all of this since the 90s. And so this isn't political sabotage. This is just not giving up. And this is saying we need to stop these monsters, and nobody cares. It's like nobody cares. And I'm wondering when that will happen. But anyone who's been reporting on the police reports going back to 1992 and are still pushing for justice, I commend them. They deserve it. And Trump shouldn't be in office because of all the accusations, because anyone else, you would throw them in jail and then let them prove. So, but I think, let's change the subject because we got a lot going on in the world. And I know Sasha's got a lot to say as well.
I would say that the possible responsibility of women of false charges would get another layer which would make them hesitant to press the charges in the first place. The thing is that there are two distinctive outcomes of pressing the charges. Okay, one, there might be really a false charge. The woman came up just being vindictive or for any other reasons. And if that's the case, yes, she should be responsible for her action if it's accusation without any proof, any substance. However, there could be a situation where a woman pressed charges and a court threw them away. So it wasn't her charges that she made up convincingly and being sort of knowingly spreading false information, but just in a court of law, she failed to prove them for one reason or another. Maybe her lawyer didn't do the good job. Maybe the judge decided that it's not enough to convict. So I don't think that in that case the woman should be responsible. for pressing the charges, because then really every woman would have to think twice, 3 times, 7 times before pressing the charges, because it can all work out against her. It's still very difficult to prove this charges in court of law, but now we are playing with a situation when in most cases you will be a responsible party and end up with heavy financial responsibility. So I don't think it's a good idea overall.
Sharif, what's your opinion on
Yes.
this?
Yeah. Do you have any question?
Yeah, so I was just wondering what your opinion is on, them treating, how should they deal with women who falsely accuse people of sexual misconduct or rape or anything like that?
Look, I have my PhD thesis on women empowerment, class-ceiling factors. I do research on Malaysian market. Even in our country, if you see about Bangladesh, this is actually a very bad practice. If you do this kind of things against women, any violence or anything, right away, there is a law against this woman rape or anything, and you do not get any things, and you go for maximum punishment like death penalty. So our country strictly follow women empowerment and so on. And I believe that woman has a very good credibility, be a good leader. So I write a book on glass ceiling factor. So hopefully this will be a very interesting factor for our discussions. And woman has ability to lead the country. Woman has the ability to lead the society. Woman has the ability to lead the family. So we should respect women. We should obey our women. And according to Quran, women right is very, very important in our communities. So Muslim community has very strong women right, economic right. We have to follow it.
Well, and I think it needs to be followed. I think women need to be very, very careful when they are making accusations, keep as much as evidence as possible, and, do it the right way. And don't falsely accuse people because you hurt other women's opportunities. We're nearing the end of the hour here. Sharif, do you have anything you would like to say to the world today?
Thank you. Actually, we are planning for a very innovative conference. It's called Innovative Bangladesh. So in this conference, women empowerment is a very, very important factor. I want to invite you in Bangladesh in 6 months.
So send me an invite. What day is it?
Actually, we are planning for November. We will fix the date and we are inviting our prime ministers to everyone. So we will send you the invitation soon.
Okay, well, maybe some people from Pod TV can attend as well. And don't forget to watch Sasha's show on the Ukraine and Russia war. I'm sure that they discussed the other wars as well. And then Sasha's show on Wednesday about your investments. And everyone, take care, be careful about what you're doing, watch for everything, and make your decisions based on what could really happen, not just to myself, but for everyone else. And until we see you tomorrow, take care.